Guys, today we are going to be talking about the 25 reasons that developers use Linux. So if you don't know what Linux is just one of the most powerful platforms that a developer can use. And it's kind of characterized as being one of the most complete projects as a workable system. Linux kind of just offers varied advantages and operational benefits, and it is these aspects that kind of just endear the platform to developers. So the first reason that people would use Linux, why developers would use Linux and opt for that as opposed to the others, is that it has the capacity to learn. The capacity to learn on there is just unending. It's a platform that has just so many possibilities, and especially since you get to break down and study the source code and thereby learn some specific aspects and inputs. And the next reason would be that if you're using Linux, you are not vulnerable to viruses. So that's one of the main advantages that it has, is that it's going to protect the work and progress that you're making on your projects from malicious files that can corrupt your system, but it's just completely having amazing malware that's just not going to let it be vulnerable to viruses. The next is that it's a really effective program testing. So with Linux, a developer, you can structure program testings at a very advanced stage to ensure workability and that that everything that you're building is kind of just perfect and all of the systems are working accurately, which is obviously very key. The next reason it would be that it has different GUI gnomes. So the beauty of different GUI gnomes is that you get to have wide options that are going to aid you in creating very structured, they're just very structured and solutions. So it's a very amazing thing that Linux offers that a lot of other ones don't. Another thing with Linux is that it's just the fastest. It's one of the fastest platforms that any developer can use to its effective command line, due to its effective command line and operational effectiveness. Another thing to keep in mind, since it is faster, when you are just doing final tests of a site or something that you've built with it or through Linux, make sure that you also try it on other things, because if people don't have such an amazing platform, or if they're on a 2G network, you might have opted some images for a higher size because your camera was able to run it, or not your camera, your platform was able, Linux was able to function it and run it quickly. But if you try it on a 2G type of a device, it might take 15 minutes to load. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. The next reason would be that it has bundled languages. So when you install Linux, you are just open to all kinds of languages like Perl and Python and PHP and Ruby, among many others. So that is an amazing feature that it comes with. The next reason would be text processing commands. So that's another major advantage of Linux, is that it gives you the ability to structure text processing commands that make operations a lot easier on systems. The next reason it would be it has great support for debugging. So when it comes to debugging your system, there are just varied support options that are going to enable you to handle the process, and that's just a major plus that is one of the reasons that it led so many developers to utilize Linux as the choice platform as opposed of the other ones on the market. So the next reason would be for building binaries. So with Linux, it's very possible to build binaries and structure them to fit the project at hand, whatever you're working on or whatever you're building. And this is just a great workable median that every single developer loves to have. So that is one of its strongest suits. Another reason, of course, would be command line package. So the beauty of a command line package is that it's going to enable you to install and customize the platform to a version of choice, and that is kind of what a lot of users admire about Linux. That's a really just a really phenomenal thing that you're able to utilize. The next is it's very easy to install libraries. Libraries are just basically the playgrounds for a developer, as I'm sure you know, or you're going to find out on your journey of learning this. And a platform that offers really easy installation of the same is just always a plus to developers, which is one of the reasons why Linux delivers to so many, because of everything that it adds to it and the fact that it's so easy to install libraries that you don't have to spend too much time. It's not extensive, and it's another reason why it's just one of the most used out there. The next reason would be that it's easy to integrate really low-level stuff. So when you're integrating low-level stuff, developers kind of desire to have a platform that's going to adjust the needs seamlessly, and Linux is the worthy option, as it offers just a great way to integrate those same aspects. The next would be that the APIs in Linux are a lot cleaner. So most platforms lack really clean APIs, and it can just take that any type of developer would be able to take advantage of when handling a project. And the nice thing with Linux is that it serves as the best options as having the cleanest API that delivers the desired medium of operation. It really just trumps pretty much everything out there for so many reasons. But the next reason is that it's possible to structure shell scripting. So shell scripting is a major aspect for developers, and Linux serves as the best platform when it comes to structuring the same and ensuring that there's a workable setting. The next would be flexibility. So Linux is very flexible. It's kind of a major plus for developers who are targeting target having a platform that's able to be customized and optimized to serve very specific purposes according to the need at hand. The next reason would be that it's compatible with hardware. So varied hardware options, especially those of past years, are not compatible with other platforms. However, Linux runs on the same very seamlessly, making it a compatible program with multiple benefits. I've even heard some people say that it runs amazing on really couple-year-old PCs, but it works amazing even on up-to-date MacBooks. So it's absolutely great that it's so compatible with all the hardware that you have. The next is that it is possible to modify source code. So as a developer, you're going to be faced with that difficulty in finding a compatible server for platforms, and that platforms can enjoy the working of Linux, since it offers the possibility to modify source code and ensure that varied software runs completely seamless. And the possible best advantage of Linux is that it's free. So it's a free platform. You can just download it off of your browser, and it's just secure and it's workable and it's user friendly. And it has absolutely no cost. So whether you're an expert developer if you're an expert developer, you probably already know it, but if you're somebody who's starting out, download Linux, even if you don't know what you're doing. Download it because it's a lot of fun to play around with. I play around with it on my own, and it is fun. The next is varied software choices. So one of the advantages of having Linux as your choice platform is that there are varied software choices available and the overall ability to really just create and manage projects. The next is that there is the possibility to customize your OS. So a particular benefit of it, obviously, is that it has that possibility of being able to customize your operating system to suit specific angles of operation. And depending on what you're doing, you can really just customize the way that your operating system is functioning in order to better accommodate it, really, which is a great feature that nearly no platforms offer, at least to the extent that Linux does. The next is that there's no spyware threats, because when you are using Linux, the spyware threats that are experienced are on other platforms. They're pretty much just a forgotten factor when you're using Linux, because it's basically a foolproof system. The next is you have a great online community support. There is just a giant community out there that's going to ensure that any problem or difficulty that you come into when you're developing, that you're going to have people that can help you. that are experienced developers that are experienced in handling the system, and they are great for helping, and they are great to utilize if you are stuck, because they are just an awesome resource on kind of rectifying and kind of solving things. The next is that it is very secure. Again, you don't have any threats. It's just a completely secure system that beats, there isn't any that's going to beat the workability of Linux. And it's just really impenetrable when it comes to software and online attacks and things that look to crash your system. So it's very secure. Can't really emphasize that enough. The next is that it has distribution maintainers. So platforms with the capacity to distribute maintainers are very rare in the world of developers. And with Linux, they serve the best choice for the exact same. And the last reason that people will use it is that it is effective on file servers, backups, and firewall systems. So that it's very, it's particularly immune to all malware attacks, making it just so stable and so dependable. And that is about it for this video, guys. I would add a little closing statement, but my video or my camera is dying. So I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.